Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. We find ourselves here on Tuesday, Amein Kitov. Thank you for joining us. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzvah Gana Yisrael, for Shalom Chol B'Tzvah Yisrael, return of Ran Gevili Lekfuras Yisrael. We learn each day Nishmat Seren Daniel Shimon ben Harav Daron V'Shalei Shem Kem Damo. The next chapter, something that's quite practical, I guess, in some minyanim, maybe not in others. So as I mentioned at the end of yesterday's episode, particularly for those who are davening for the Amud, the perhaps exasperation that one feels while davening and nobody's answering Amein. So let's take that a little bit further. Chazon Omer's Chazarat Hashatz. Tzarich kol echad ve'echad mehakol lishtok u'lechavein lishmo es birchas hachazon v'la'anos acharehen Amein. When the Chazan says Chazarat Hashatz, the repetition, every single one in the audience has to be quiet, has to have kavanah to listen to the blessings, and to answer Amein after each one. Ukvar lamadu, and we learned earlier, sheish omrim she'asul l'chazan lahaschil b'Chazarat Hashatz ad sheyu sham tisha she'yanu Amein abarchosav. And we saw a long time ago that a Chazan is not allowed to continue. He cannot begin the repetition until at least he has 9 who are answering on his brachos. And some say that if some are still reciting the silent Shemona Esrei, that even though they can't answer Amein, but we know they're there, they could at least be mitzdarf to the minyan. They can count for the minyan. However, we have different parameters for this. So lechatchila noagin lahachmish leyaskal lachazim mechazaras hashatz ad shiyu sham tisha shianu acharav Amein. Ideally, we are accustomed to be strict that the Chazan doesn't begin the repetition until he has 9 people that can answer. In the case of need, where let's say people who are in a hurry to finish davening, they have to catch a train. And if there's one guy or 2 guys that are holding them up, and they're going to have to delay the beginning of Shemona Esrei, the repetition, so and we could rely on the opinion of most poskim that you can start Chazarat Hashatz if there are only 8 that can answer, meaning 8 who have finished. In other words, you have 9 total because it's the person who's davening, and then another 8. Keshagam zelo yoel, if that doesn't help. And by the way, we try to only rely on this. This is my own commentary here based on other readings of poskim and Ramalamed, I believe, in another place. We can only rely on this, let's say, if it's what's called a minyan mitzumtzum, if there's only a small amount of people in the minyan. If you have 40 people in the minyan, you can't rely on this necessarily. But the Rav continues, if this is not going to help either, there are a lot of people that are schlepping out to davening. If it's very, very late and people have to go, then you could do it even with 6, meaning the Chazan plus 5 who have answered. Because together that will constitute a majority. In order to exit from any sort of doubt, if a place where there's pressure and you want to start the repetition and you don't have 9 people answering, the Chazan should make the following Tanai condition in his heart. If the Halacha follows, like those who hold that we need 9 answering, Harei Tefillah Nedava, then my Tefillah will be a Nedava. And since a person ideally shouldn't, but we are allowed to do a Tefillah Nedava, nevertheless, all of his brachos won't be in vain. A person is a chazan, and this perhaps might be more common, where people just don't answer. They're busy, they're doing other things, they're talking, and you have a suffix whether or not they're going to even answer Amein at all. Sometimes there's only one person answering Amein, 2 people. So Yisne Beliba Lefnei Tefillah Shem Lo Yutisha Yishanu Acharav Amein V'Adin Kesovim Shechayvim Tisha Harei Tefillas Nedava. Again, make the same condition. At least my Tefillah should be like Tefillas Nedava, because I am not sure that I have 9 people that will be answering. In order so that one should even enter into these types of doubts, everyone who is there in the repetition listening should feel as if without him there is not 9. He's the one that makes it. And you should have kavanah, you should answer Amein afterwards. The note here in the bottom He has a machlokas in the Acharonim, ha'im tzirach tisha onim Chazarat Hashatz, whether you need 9 answering. So he gives a lot of different sources, which is really fascinating, all the modern day poskim, and whether or not someone who's standing at Shemona Esrei. But Lamaisa, practically speaking, everyone who is not davening and you're hearing Chazarat Hashatz, you should at least answer, at least for the chazn's sake, so he doesn't feel alone, so he doesn't feel like he's talking to the walls. But obviously, because of this halacha, we want to make sure that Chazarat Hashatz is fulfilled in the optimal sense. So we always wait, which is why usually they wait for the rabbi. It's not just till the rabbi's done. In our shul, they don't wait till the rabbi's done. They wait till the rabbi gives the signal, because the rabbi's, that's me, by the way, is always giving a count and making sure that we have enough people that are able to theoretically answer. Now, whether they practically answer, that's a whole different story, but enough that can theoretically answer, we have enough to begin the repetition, and that is the practice that we follow. So we continue following our learning each day. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzvah HaYisrael, Hopes to Israel. Yes, we have many who need Refuah Shlema, but Ron Gilul, Perez Yisrael, Nishmat, Daniel Shimon, Rav Dernov, Thanks again for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.